Hey guys, just want to update you on another project we got going on. This is kind of going to be a long project throughout this winter. But sitting right here is my wife's four-wheeler. We got some issues with the motor going on with it. So this is going to be in a way, a series. It's kind of what I want to go with it, but I'm not sure how it's going to turn out and what we're all going to do with it. But I've already jumped ahead with the project a little bit without recording it. So I hope you guys aren't too upset about that. But what we got going is we have a 2005 Suzuki King Quad 700 four-wheel drive. It's got the Quadromatic, liquid cooled. You can research it online, and there's a ton of information on them. It's a stock bike. There isn't really nothing done to it. The only thing that's done to it is we didn't, but we bought it with different tires on it. They're not stock tires. They're the Mud Light tires. But got some issues with the motor going on with it. And the more research I do online sounds like it's pretty much typical of this bike. So it's kind of going to be a little bit of a series of what's going on with it. I'm hoping it'll be helpful, for you guys. And if you own a King Quad, you can kind of see what's what with it. But let me, I'll get the camera moved around here, and you can kind of see what's going on with it, or where we're at with it, I should say. So this is the bike. Like I said, it's a 2005 King Quad 700. Right now I have all the front fenders, or the front plastics off, rack. I took the gear shifter off. Gear shifter off. We'll come around to this side, and you'll see, as far as the clutch side here, that you have the primary and secondary clutch off, all the plastics that surround that cover, and all that's off. But what's going on with it? Let me set you guys up here. All right. So this is the bike. What we got going on with it? We've had this bike for about 4 years. We bought it when it was used. I'm sorry. We bought it used from a local person, and it had some miles on it. I want to say it had around 3,200 miles on it when we bought it. So it's definitely had its use. I'm not sure what kind of maintenance was done on it beforehand. The guy didn't really say. I'm assuming not a whole lot, to be honest. When we first got it, I had to take off all the suspension and free up all the bushings and the A-arms and everything because they're all froze up. Not really froze up, but corroded. So the rear suspension didn't work at all. So I'm assuming there wasn't a whole lot of maintenance done to it. But what we have going on with it is, in the last, over this past summer and probably about the end of the summer previous, getting a lot of smoking out of the motor, out of the exhaust, blue smoke. So what I thought, maybe some rings on the piston, the rings are getting weak, whatever. So I put in a little bit heavier oil trying to get by with it, and it did get by for a while. The blue smoke didn't go away. And as a matter of fact, over this past summer, it's gotten worse. So it's smoking blue smoke out the exhaust. What's the other one? It's knocking. The motor's knocking, and I can't tell whether it's coming from the top end or the lower end. To me, it seems more the lower end that it's knocking. There was a third issue there I was thinking of. The third issue is It's real hard starting when it's cold. After it's been running, it seems to start fine. But off of a cold, it's been sitting in the shed or whatever for a while, or for the night, or we go up there the next morning, and it's real hard starting to the point where it almost kills the battery. And I have to actually give it, an eighth of a throttle, just touch, give it a little bit of throttle while it's turning over to even start it. So we got hard starting, smoke and blue smoke, and there's a knock somewhere in the motor, which, from what I've read, is absolutely really common with these motors, and in 2005, lots of issues that people have had. Of course, I don't know what's exactly wrong with this one because I don't have it apart yet, but we're getting there. And I'll let you listen to what the motor sounds like. We'll get you turned around here in a minute, and I'll fire it up for you. But I did do a fuel pressure test on it to make sure the hard starting wasn't nothing to do with that. And I wrote all this information down here. Fuel pressure. I got 40 psi with just the key on. And then I got about 46, 47 pounds of psi while it's running. So I did both pressure on and while it's running. So I got the service manual for it, and that isn't within spec. So we shouldn't have no problems with fuel pressure. Tonight, matter of fact, I did an oil pressure test on it. Got a few readings off that. I did a cold, just firing it up, took the pressure. I got, it was 40 psi, cold start at an idle. And then we ran it for probably about 20 minutes, letting it warm up. Once it was warmed up, I got 8 psi at an idle. But in the manual it says to take I'm taking on the lower bolts, oil pressure galley, on this motor, not the top end, on the lower end. So I got 8 psi when it was warm at an idle. But in the manual it says to take your oil pressure reading at 2,000 RPMs. So revved a little bit. So we revved it a little bit, roughly 2,000 RPMs. We didn't have an RPM gauge, but guesstimated. And we were running about 24 psi warm at 2,000 RPMs. And that also is within spec. So both fuel pressure and oil pressure are good on this bike so far. I kind of want to take all these tests before I tear it apart. The third test I want to do is the compression test. Unfortunately, I don't have the adapter to go from my fitting on my pressure gauge to the threads of the spark plug on this, and I don't remember off the top of my head what the thread is on it. But so anyway, I ordered an adapter that should be here in a couple days. I want to get a compression test. That'll be hopefully the tall tale sign of what's actually going on with this motor. So that's that. Right now, I'm kind of thinking I got probably some valve issues. And I'm thinking probably piston, and hopefully not, but maybe the cylinder walls. Mainly because what I've read is the stock air filter, which I'm pretty sure I have the stock air filter in this thing, is garbage. So if you own one of these 2005 Suzuki King Quad 700s, get rid of that air filter if it's a stock one. It sounds like it's what's recommended is the twin air system. Which I'll be replacing in this. What happens is the paper element, it sounds like, isn't the greatest, the paper itself on the stock filter. And so once the filter starts getting dirty, it'll actually suck that dirt through the filter. So apparently that was the issue, which might have been what happened to this. I'm not sure yet. But so anyway, I guess I've talked long enough. I'll bring you over and I'll let you listen to the motor and see what you think of it. Maybe you can give me some ideas and some tips of what you hear or it sounds like, or we can go from there. Okay, let's start this thing up and you can kind of hear what it sounds like. And I'll get my microphone down in the motor so you can hear it a little better. We did have this running tonight, checking oil pressure, so it probably still is a little bit warm. But we'll see how it starts. Here we go. Key on, let fuel pressure build, and start. So there it did start good. It starts like that when it's warm. Let me get the microphone down on the motor so you can hear what it sounds like. Okay, hopefully the sound's coming through good. Let me go to the other side. Okay, here we go. Now that's down by the clutch assembly. It will come up to the top of the head. All right, I'll now rev it up a little bit. Okay, hopefully that come through okay on the microphone. I'll let you watch the Now here you'll see the exhaust, the blue smoke coming out of the exhaust, and rev it up a little bit. Hope you've seen that okay, because it's... Here, let me shut this off. So that's what it sounds like. I'm hoping it come through okay and when I go into editing and see what it sounds like. But it started fine that time, but like I said, it was warm to begin with because we took an oil pressure about an hour ago or so on it. So that's why it started better that time. Like it starts good when it's warm, but when it's cold, oh man, is it hard starting. So, you heard the knocking. I kind of moved the microphone around a little bit to see if you could tell where it was coming from in the motor, whether it's top end or lower end. Seems to be worse on the clutch side, that you can hear it. But I mean, it's, as you rev it, it gets worse also. I'm not sure what it is until I get it apart. But you also see the blue smoke coming out. So I think the motor is kind of, it's not shot, I don't think, but it needs some loving. So this is the project this winter. The kids are helping me do it. I'm having them kind of do all the wrenching on it. So it's kind of a family project through this winter. But I'm not sure how I'm going to do this series of videos, whether it will be showing actually taking the bike apart, or if I'm just going to give you updates on what's going on with it. To be honest, it's probably going to be easier just to give you updates. And kind of show you guys how it's maybe torn apart and where we're at with it. Not sure, but you can let me know. Post a comment down below. And do you want to see actually disassembly, or you just kind of want to see where it's at, what I had to do it, or what I had to do to fix it? So you can let me know that. But other than that, if you like this video and want to see more videos on this series, give this video a thumbs up. If you like the content, we got lots more other content on this channel. Go ahead and subscribe. More videos coming out. Other than that, Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.